Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the fitness podcast. Today we have Adiba. I'll let her introduce herself. So yeah, Adiba, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself to the audience?
Yes. Thank you for having me, first of all. So, hi guys. My name is Adiba. You can find me on Instagram as CEO Adiba. So, what do I do? I own a financial service distribution company where I work with banks, investment companies, and risk management companies to be able to create game plans for families, individuals, business owners, just people from all walks of life, especially middle income families who need the most help to get to their goals in all ways possible, getting the resource, getting the knowledge to them, which is a huge gap that exists in our society. And I do that in Canada, all over, helping families one day at a time.
Yeah, so with that, I know a lot of people in the current epidemic and situation around the world have a lot of issues that they both like personally and financially. I want to
Mhm.
talk about that. So, just as a brief question, what are some basic recommendations you can give for people in a recession like this? Most of my audience is students, so it's our first recession like this that would actually
Yeah.
affect us. So, what's some advice you can give?
Okay, just to connect with all the students, I too am a student. I'm in my fifth year at McMaster University, taking finance as my specialization, so I can connect with you all, but in a kind of different route because I do run my own full-time business. But a recommendation for a lot of students is this is a time if you've actually never invested, because a lot of students don't actually have big flows of income. Maybe they're going to be getting EI. It is actually a time you need to actually save money. If you've never invested, I know there's a whole hype and this sexiness about investing right now, this popularity, but you have to be very careful. If, let's say, you only have $1,000 in your account, and I've had people say, I have $1,000 in my account. Should I invest it? No, you should actually not invest the entire thing because you don't know what the job situation is going to be for you. You should actually leave it. That's your emergency fund. Everybody, every student should always create an emergency fund. This is for just, even if you're not a student, an emergency fund of anywhere covering your income for up to 3 months minimum, up max 12 months. So if you don't even have in your savings up to 3 months of your income that you would have made as a student, you're not in the greatest position to actually be investing. But now let's say you are in a good position to do that, because some students actually are working, pretty well established jobs on the side, or maybe they have a business on the side that's still acquiring monetary funds for them. Well, in that case, set aside still amount to save. If you have debts, there's a time now in a recession time like this is you can negotiate a lot of things right now. If you have OSAP, you can be negotiating and not paying your I believe it's for up to 6 months. We're negotiating with your landlord, negotiating with the banks. If you have a lot of students usually end up being in credit card debts because of lack of knowledge of using credit cards. So this is a really important time that you actually call up your bank. Yes, you might have to wait for a while before you get a hold of somebody, but you do it. It's worth it to potentially defer your interest payments. So at least your interest doesn't keep on accruing on your debt that you might already have. And find ways to not eat out as in Uber Eats and DoorDash, because a lot of students are probably doing that if they're still by themselves. So find a way to, which I'll cover on later, to do things at home. So those are some of the tips I'll tell people, and start researching. This is a good time to start reading financial books. This is a good time to watch videos on it. Yes, you might want to Netflix and binge eat and all of that stuff, but hey, this is a good time to start learning. Money is a thing you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life, so why not learn about it? Yeah,
Yeah,
those are some of
basically, yeah, basically branching off of that and trying to bring it to our main podcast topic. Um, a lot of people who are going to be watching this interview are students, like I mentioned before,
the.
and they can't rely on the free. They rely on the free gym memberships that the schools do offer, and they can't really afford expensive gym memberships and expensive trainers
Mhm,
that do the work for them and feel the pain for them, like at
mhm.
a lot of famous gyms out there. But how can one keep an active lifestyle on a budget?
Okay. I love that question. So how to keep a active lifestyle on a budget. First of all, let's hit on the nail with a lot of people can't do the gyms right now. People, even if you were paying into gyms now, those are different payments with the situation. But let's say we're in a normal situation of life, you're paying your regular stuff. So one of the things that's been happening a lot and a lot of people can tap into is finding community groups within, Facebook or Instagram, where they're doing a lot of live workouts where you could do at home. Because if you're used to working out with a lot of people, or you used to spend money on, I know there's one thing called F45 and things like that, where you do those group 45-minute workouts and you miss that feel and you want to still save money and not have to pay for, a trainer online. Because there's some apps, there's even programs still, there's trainers who are still charging and things like that at a time, and they're not putting out discounts. So find those live groups where there's actual trainers. Right now there's like very high top-notch professionals who are actually doing live trainings on their Instagram, they're doing live trainings on their Facebook. So follow along that. What else can you do in terms of when it comes to, maybe right now with all the groceries and things like that that's happening, or regardless when these things are not happening, as much as, things outside cost more when you're trying to eat healthy. I was vegan for 8 months, and most people before was going to try being vegan, they were like, hey, you're going to end up spending more money and things like that. But here's the kicker: you don't end up spending more money when you're eating healthy. The problem with the regular person is they have a habit of eating out. That's the first thing to tackle, is stop eating out. We were going to actually have an event called There's Food at Home to show how there's a huge difference when you eat at home. Whether you're eating healthy or not, you're going to save up money eating healthy or not at home than eating out. But now, if you actually eat healthy home, you save so much more money compared to eating healthy out. It's a dramatic difference. A lot of people, because of time management, they want to buy those meal prep programs. They're super expensive. I have clients who are students and they will spend $300 $200 weekly for those meal prep programs because they don't want to budget their time. As much as it's convenient, it's not convenient for your bank account. So you need to set aside, as much as money is important, you need to set aside time. That's why they say time is money. You need to set aside time, maybe 2 days in the week, that you actually meal prep for yourself. You buy all your groceries. Trust me when I say, when you eat your veggies and all these healthy things or whatever you want to eat, it's so much more cheaper. When you make it at home, you can make it for a longer amount of time. For instance, for like $6, where you could get one meal outside, maybe not, you need $10. But with $10 of a little bit of groceries, you could probably eat 3 meals in a day. That's a lot of money saved right there. Okay, but you have to get into the reality. Most people, if you notice, who actually live a good lifestyle, healthy wise, and save money, a lot of them don't eat out. They don't believe in it. They carry boxes of food with them, right? That's super important. Even as a student, it's actually simpler for you in a sense that, you have class and things like that. Between class, you can get time to eat, your meal. You need to put it into your calendar that, hey, I'm going to eat my meal here, here, here. So I'm going to take this and this meal. At the end of the day, it's all about time management, because time management and money management are 100% related. So if you, let's say, want to work out early in the morning, okay, because that's the only time you seem to get between school and work, and you're like, oh, morning is the best time. You're going to have to make the sacrifice of not feeling good for a little bit to feel great later. You're going to have to wake up a little bit early, put that 30 minutes in, put that 20 minutes in, and then go about your day. This way you also save money, because now you don't have to go and get yourself in a gym. Second, you can also use that morning time to make and prepare food for yourself. So now you're saving money throughout the day. Do you know how much it costs? Campus food is ridiculously expensive for
I know,
all
especially at
those.
our school as well. Any place with Airmark charges, it makes us pay out the bum. It's
It's
insane.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like,
like U of
oh
T,
man.
York, I understand why they got rid of, and UIT recently, I think. I keep track of all the places that get rid of Airmark, and let me tell you, the food
Mm,
there is a lot cheaper and a lot healthier than places elsewhere that do
wow.
have Airmark.
Wow. That's great. But see, a lot of schools don't have that. So it gets super expensive for people. I know I've had clients who tell me, I would look at their budget and let's say someone making in $1,500 to $1,000 as a student, which is pretty okay for a regular student, not bad. And they'll spend anywhere from $300 to $400 just on food. That's 1/5, and that's not like home cooked meals. That's outside cooked meals. Plus, they'll buy groceries. So in my head, I'm like, so but a lot of your food is probably rotting in the fridge, right? That's a story of most students. Their bananas and milk rot over time, or their fruits and veggies they bought. So you have to stay due diligent on that. To be able to save money. So get an accountability partner too, when it comes to doing these things. Sometimes it's really hard. A lot of the financial questions, as much as I can give answers to numbers, it's not always about numbers. You control your numbers to the actions you create for yourself, the story you make for yourself. So if it's hard for you and you still want to eat out, maybe keep an accounting partner for the morning. Be like, hey, I'm gonna wake up, let you know I woke up, you let me know too, and we're gonna work out together and check in we worked out. Okay, that's out of the way. Maybe there's a day you said you're gonna meal prep, or you said that you're only gonna eat once or twice out in the week, and at the end of the week this accountability person actually tells you that, hey, well, how many times did you eat? Okay, twice. Good, we're on budget. Then you need to create a budget. So living a healthy lifestyle is an investment into yourself. You can be wealthy, but if you're not healthy, you're not going to enjoy it. So there's a saying in the whole financial realm of self-investment, you should always, and this is from a book you guys can read, it's called No Excuses. So it talks about health in there too. It's by Brian Tracy. And he talks about always putting away 3% of whatever you make into self-development. Okay, so if you're making $1,000, at least $30 should actually go into your self-development. Self-development just doesn't mean books, It means, taking that 3% and putting that aside to invest into, instead of putting that $30 into partying or $30 into buying drinks or smokes and stuff. Like, you do that, that's on you, but hey, still keep a budget, 3% minimum or more. I recommend a little bit more, but 3% that you cater to buying food for home, or just buying healthy food, or buying those protein shakes. That's your budget, $30 out of 1,000, because that's 3%, or investing in a program. So you need to budget yourself as well. Okay.
Yeah, so that actually branches off into a few more questions that I wanted to ask. First of it being, you did talk a bit about like development and track goals and all that stuff. A lot of the software is from like, just so the audience knows a bit about my development.
Mm-hmm.
In the past year, and I spent the last year trying to reduce my weight. I did the keto diet. And with that, I was able to drop down close to 65 to 70 pounds. And
That's
but
beautiful.
yeah, but the thing is, the way I tracked it, I was a caveman. Surprisingly, even though I'm a programming student, I still used a notebook, these cue cards and everything to write down. And because that was free, but a lot of students don't learn or can't track the way I would. Everyone's different. But a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
technology-based apps are all paid. So how can one track their fitness or goals or development in a way that is free, but is also in a way that's effective, but also accessible for everyone?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad you bring that up. I actually made some apps. So I'm a very tech loving person. I love the hand to paper, like there's a different feel to it, and there I think that's still important, but I believe tech makes life easier for all of us. I love all kinds of tech. So because everything's about setting up systems. So tech allows you to set up systems that you don't really have to think about. But now obviously cost can be a barrier to a lot of things. So let's talk about some apps that you can actually use that will actually help you to first of all save money, and not only that, be able to track your goals. So some of the things just on terms of saving money that could help you, in terms of healthy eating, groceries, or buying things online, because a lot of people buy protein shakes and all that stuff online. I recommend, or even if it comes to some fitness classes that you want to take, I recommend people Groupon. That's a really great place for people who want to stay active and want to find a community on a budget. A lot of students, a lot of fitness places like Allure, some kickboxing places, they love giving out classes, and they do it for quite cheap. And sometimes they do it for like 2 people, 3 people, bring 4 friends, and you get it even cheaper. So that way you can, as a team, be healthy when, like, with your friends at school and stuff like that. Let's say you're in a sports team too and you want to do more, or you just bunch of people, you and your friends want to be healthy, you can do that. So Groupon helps in that. So a lot of times Groupon also gives grocery discounts too. So that's something to keep in mind. Next one is, if you're buying things online, there's an extension. If you have Google Chrome, which you should, if you have Internet Explorer, that's kind of outdated, but you can get an extension which is called Honey. Okay, Honey is definitely sweet. What do I mean? So besides, online shopping for clothes, which of course us ladies love to do, regardless of that, a lot of times on Amazon and other health stores online, they actually have coupons. They search all throughout the browsers with Honey, and they see if that website has a coupon, and they give you the best coupon. So even if there's coupons for 20% off, 15% off, 5% off, they'll give you the one with the highest. They'll literally do the whole search engine thing, which is super amazing, which I have found very helpful. Next, that could help a lot of people in terms of when you're doing groceries outside, is called an app called Checkout 51. Okay, Checkout 51 is an app that's in the US and Canada. And whenever you do groceries, and they have a lot of grocery stores, like Rexel, No Froze, and things like that. Once you finish it, all you have to do is upload the receipt. If they have any deals going on, and you'll see deals, they'll get like $3 cash back, $2 cash back. As a student, trust me, even a $10 cashback is great over time. And you can actually cash it out. So over time, you redeem these things and you can actually cash it out. Right now, for instance, they notice how there's so many people, stocking up on bananas, eggs, and bread. It's actually a common grocery. They're giving deals every single day for that. It's not huge in terms of its cashback. Hey, it's not bad. So that adds up over time. They give deals on like cereal and things, your regular stuff that you'd have, and you go to these stores, Rexall and No Froze, they actually redeem you cash back, which is amazing. And it's super simple, and a lot of people can use that, especially it's really good for students. Next, now, to actually track your goals, let's talk about that. So there's actually apps online, some apps that actually do it, but then, if you want to do more detailed stuff, you have to go to the premium version and stuff like that, because apps have to make their money too. What I recommend to everybody is to get familiar with Excel. Excel will save your life in so many kind of ways, because you can, add your own, let's say, formulas. Let's say in January, you want to lose this much weight, and you track every day what you're doing. You can literally put all your exercises. And online, if you go on Google, maybe, when we put this link out, we can give some of these links to all of these apps and Excel templates. There's Excel templates that actually show you workout plans. So it will tell you like, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can choose what exercises to put in there. You can actually edit it. You can save it on your Google Sheets, on your Gmail, or even on Excel. I recommend Google Sheets, which is like the online version. So whenever you're any tech that could go with you on your phone, that's what I love. And it's more easier, because if you're at the gym, you can literally pull up the Google Sheets. It works offline. You don't need internet, and you can literally track your stuff and be like, okay, I did this, I did that. You can literally create a checklist for your workout. If you have a certain goal, you can put that goal in there. You can track, your weekly weight or bi-weekly weight and see how far you are from your goal. So those Excel sheets are lifesavers. I even use Excel sheets regardless for business goals, personal development goals. Literally, I have an Excel sheet for my workout. I have an Excel sheet for my money goals. I have an Excel sheet for personal development. I want to read this many books by this time, that goal. Things like that. So you can literally put everything is math at the end of the day. So these Excel sheets, putting your own, if you're a math person, I'm kind of a math person. I do like math, so I do put in my own formulas and create my own sheets. But if that's not you, and that's totally okay. Again, you don't have to be an expert at everything. Leverage other people's expertise. We will, link Excel templates that you can literally save on your phone or on your computer and literally track while you're on the go at the gym. So that's going to be super helpful. because that way it's your own, you can make your own adjustments and you can run like no tomorrow. And that way, if you have like a friend too, you can, and here's another cool thing with too, let's say you're doing the workout, like a workout goal with a bunch of your friends, you can actually add your friends on the Google Sheets, and actually, they can track their stuff and you guys can actually check in, and every night maybe be like, hey, I checked yours, good stuff, progress reports, you can actually put it all in. And if you want to print it out, you can do that, but you can do so much with Excel. That's like the best recommendation for people to track any kind of goal, is fall in love with Excel. You're gonna like it. You might not like it if you've never touched it. I know schools nowadays don't really teach it. I know when I was in high school, they taught it, and I was just very much into tech stuff. So I used to just go on YouTube and try to learn these things. So you can actually start learning. At first, it might be a little bit hard, but over time, you just need to know a little bit basics. Just input stuff, and then it works out for you. That's why those pre-populated formula templates, those would be good for a lot of people. So that's how you can track a lot of your stuff for free and on a budget.
Yeah, thank you for that information. So all the links for that will be in the description so that you guys can take a look at. So another quick question that I would like to ask, well, it's not going to be quick, it's going to take a while to answer this one, but recently I was reading that in City TV news, or City News,
Mm-hmm.
they had an article that said that a one-bedroom apartment on average can cost a person $2,300 a month in Toronto. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was on my diet, my God, was it difficult to maintain it for the year that I did it. So I know it's not um, workable, like it's not really convenient for people to do it for a really long run just to live on a constant budget, because like one, they're forced to with the prices of like just existing in a house in Toronto, but
Mm-hmm.
they're so confined. So how does one keep the motivation to live in a affordable, sustainable, active, and healthy lifestyle for a really long time without having a mental breakdown of I want to break loose but I can't?
Yeah, I think that comes down to really anybody going towards any goal, because so there's different stages of trying to go towards a goal. Even budgeting and stuff, that's a goal, like being able to budget. At first they're super excited, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and they can wake up at 5 a.m. I've been there, wake up at 5 a.m. and then we're ready to go, and then life happens and we're like, shoot, yeah, I didn't expect it to be like this. So first things first is you have to make up the mind that there's gonna be variables that's gonna happen and you're not gonna be able to control it, and sometimes the variables you yourself and you. Second is you have to be able to draw the line when things are not going according to where you are. So if one day sucks and you're like, oh damn, I didn't follow my workout plan, and then you're sad because you beat yourself up, well, guess what, that day's gone, restart again. Because there's a book called Slight Edge. Self-development is super important in trying to hit any goals. I forget who Slight Edge is by. So all that, so there's a story in there. It talks about when a plane goes off of its land to go to where it needs to. If it doesn't, so there's a degree that it needs to rise up. Okay, if it rises at a 1 to 2 degree difference, it will actually end up making the entire travel time different by like a few hours. Just 1 to 2 degree difference will change the entire pathway of the whole travel course. So what do I mean by this story? So if one day messes up, it's okay. But if you stop forever, your entire course will be done forever. But if you get back up again, but even if it's a milli step, you get back again, guess what? Your entire goal will still be able to be acquired. Even if things change a little bit, you're still going to be able to do it, but you have to keep on going slight by slight. You have to make up the mindset. First you have to look at your situation as well too, that okay, if sometimes we put ourselves in situations we don't really need to be. We voluntarily stay in a place. For instance, I'll give you this some people might not like to hear it, but hey, not everybody has to live in Toronto, let's say. You know what I mean? There's people who students who don't have to live in Toronto, they would save more money commuting. Yes, it takes a little bit more energy, or maybe they can live in other parts of Toronto that's a little bit cheaper instead of living downtown Toronto, which is so much expensive. Sometimes we put ourselves into circumstances and positions we voluntarily make ourselves suffer for the sake of what it looks like from the outside. So you have to make the decision for yourself, like, hey, is this a circumstance I really can control? Yes, okay, let's move. And the days where you know, like feel breakdown and stuff like that, you have to come into the understanding. And this has nothing to really do with money. It has everything to do with your mindset. You have to come into the concept of thought process that, okay, I'm not my feelings. My feelings are very contingent to the situations. And you have to realize that any goal that is need to be acquired, it's a long-term gratification journey. You can't, where we live in a world where even with money, a lot of people will ask, Adiba, I want to see great returns in a month, in a year. Da, 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 da. That doesn't work. There's the principle of reaping and sowing does not work like that. You have to keep on putting consistent effort. Even a farmer must, plant the seed, do its process to actually reap the harvest. Same thing with this. You have to keep in mind the harvest that you're going to acquire. If it's your health goals, the health that you're going to acquire. How are you going to feel when you lose that weight? How are you going to feel looking at yourself? Get in that moment, get in that state of that feeling, and let that drive you forward. Don't let what you feel right now drive you down. A lot of people, and some people, it's okay to be not okay, but it's not okay to just stay there. When you feel like, let's say you didn't hit certain goals in a month and you feel sad, if you just lay there and just think about your life, guess what? You're going to stay sad. But if you actually get up, just stand up. That's all you have to do. Sometimes all you have to do is stand up. You'll actually start feeling different. There's a whole study of eugenics and stuff like that, where your physiology can affect your mental perception of what's going on. So, you can't be sad and moving at the same time. When you're working out, you cannot be sad. There's no way you're like lifting weights and you're depressed. It just can't. Your chemistry in your body is changing when you're doing that. So when you do feel pissed off, just get up, maybe do some squats, do some jumping jacks, just get up. The problem is we have been given things like our phone, which is an amazing tool, but it also is a double-edged sword. Our computers, our internet, social media, which it can actually lay us down and not move forward, or we can use it to propel us forward. But nothing can propel you more than yourself. But to be able to even think like that or have the reflex of that thought process, because it's a reflex of a thought process, you need to start reading things. You need to start listening to things. You need to start surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, learn from mentors and stuff like that. If you don't do that, your thought process won't change. If you're 18, if you're 20, imagine the thought process you had for 20 years. It's going to take some time to come out of that, but it's on you. So you are in control, which is a double-edged sword. So if you F up, it's on you. If you do great, it's on you. So take the damn responsibility and, do work on yourself.
Yeah. So another question about this is like it's also another huge unexpected hit on many people. Like I know we're in the beginning of a new decade. And a lot of people took Jan 2020 to make a lot of goals, both financially and in the fitness sense, but it all got squashed by the quarantine in many countries.
Sure,
So
yes.
this is actually a fan question that was just sent this morning, but
Okay.
she wanted to know how has your goals changed during the pandemic, and how have you stayed motivated to continue on those plans even with a situation like this, and how would it apply for other people as well?
Okay, so that's a beautiful question whoever asked. I think it's a very powerful question that we must even ask ourselves, like, okay, if we didn't hit our goals, what should we be doing? One thing to keep in mind, and this is a mindset I have, and I don't know where I got it from, maybe because I'm an immigrant and I've seen a lot of things, my family, that I have a very never give up kind of mindset. I don't care how long it takes. It might take me years, but we're not giving up. And understanding the fact, and this everybody needs to understand this fact when it comes to hitting goals, that whatever our deadline is for our goals doesn't mean that's when we're going to hit it. It is good to have a target, because without target, you're moving nowhere. You can shoot a gun anywhere, but if you don't have a target, you're just going to shoot everywhere and you might hurt yourself. That's the same thing with our goals. You need to have a target. Okay. That's your gauging point. That's your benchmark. And now a lot of times, whatever target we have, we plan out, we reverse engineer it. We have to realize, even with our reverse engineering, we have to keep the mindset. There's going to be things that's happening that we cannot control. In January, a lot of people, put their goals and they fall off. And, this didn't have to happen for people to fall off their goals. There's a study that say that by February 15th of every single year, people end up falling off of their New Year resolution. And why does that happen? It's because things happen that were not in control of you. Maybe your car broke down and you're like, damn, all that emergency fund I saved up, there it goes. That happens. Right now, maybe you had a business and you had a big contract, and because of all that's happening, now the contract is either pending, canceled, or delayed. And you're depending on that contract to maybe do something else. Maybe that contract was one thing away from buying yourself a house or buying yourself a car or just coming out of debt or something like that. So understanding that things are not in control and staying motivated, because you know that this too shall end. Every business, every person has to go through ups and downs, whether it be the downs of what's happening now, whether it be downs of personal issues, whether it be downs of friendship issues, academic issues. There's always going to be issues. We just have to make a mindset that, okay, no matter what, there's going to be issues. Okay, now when you accept that, you're not settling for the issues. What you're settling for is dealing with them, because they are going to come, and you're proactive instead of reactive. Most people are reactive. They don't realize that, wait, things are going good, things could happen. So whatever got me to, let's say we're talking about health, whatever got me to lose 20 pounds, it's not going to help me to stay there. I might have to do a little bit more to actually stay there, or even get to the next goal that I have. So my mentor, he literally told me this 2 days ago. He said, Adiba, once you realize this life is a war, okay, like a battlefield, you realize that no matter what, you're always going to fight something, okay? And there's no problem with that. That all that means is you're always going to be challenged. And on the other side of this challenge, you shall grow. How do you stay motivated to even overcome these challenges? You have to have goals, not even goals. The purpose of your goals needs to be so much bigger than yourself. If you, let's say we talk about fitness, a lot of people don't emotionalize their goals. So let's say, maybe let me ask you, why did you want to lose weight?
Well, for me, I was hit with, I was diagnosed with diabetes at my weight, and I knew a lot of people were in the same situation as me, where I was almost like an inspiration for them, where they didn't have good eating habits due to stress of school. They didn't have good mental and physical health. So I was thinking, maybe if I can do it, because I do have an athletic background, if I can do it and and then show them how I did it, because I was an engineer who ended up losing weight, even under that mental stress that I was having, that many of my peers shared. I can show them that they can do it too. So that's one of the reasons why I was thinking to lose weight, and then also starting this podcast as well. Tell people that were in my situation before.
See, that's amazing. I'm glad. Wow, that's exactly what I wanted to touch on, is that, okay, you said that, but you didn't talk about yourself. You didn't really 100%. Yes, you did it for yourself, obviously, because you had an urgency, you had a sense of urgency for your health. But it is not that pushed you. It is the fact that you wanted to inspire other people, and you wanted to help people and be of service through your life, and use your life as an example of that service. Sometimes service is not about going and giving something to someone. Sometimes service is by helping yourself, and because someone sees that, hey, you have enough confidence to help yourself and change your life, now they too can do that, so you had a bigger purpose than yourself. So that correlates to the fact that whenever you have a goal, you must have a purpose bigger than yourself. How do I stay motivated? For me, my family is a big reason. I have an immigrant chip on my shoulder at all times. I'm like, I did not come to this country to be mediocre. My parents didn't, do whatever they had to do for me to just go to school and just get a job and be out. That's why I built my full-time business while going to school. Do I like school? No. But, we do it because, brown kids, brown parents, we got to get our degrees, our nice receipts on the wall that they can show the community and
Yeah, if
call
I
my
said
degree.
anything about not going to school, my parents would beat the spice out of me.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. You don't understand. When I started this business, I had so much resistance from my family, especially my mom, and she's super close, and I love her, and things like that. And they do it out of protection. We have to understand that. But still, it's just for the purpose of giving them a better life. So if your goals don't have a bigger purpose than yourself, you're not gonna get out of bed. You're gonna be sitting there, because if you just do it for yourself and you feel like you're fine, well, who's gonna get you out of the bed? But now if you're doing it with someone else, so if I see that my parents are not doing as well as they need to be, they're not in a house that they deserve, they're not living the life they deserve. So now I'm like, shoot, Adiba, get your ass off the bed and let's get to work, because we're not where we need to be. And even right now, I don't have $1 million in my bank account. If what's happening right now, so many people are getting their mortgages denied. You don't hit goals. You don't want goals just for yourself. You want goals to help others. I want $1 million in my bank account, more than that. But let's say if I had $1 million, I could have helped, those people who don't get mortgages deferred. I could give them some money, and plenty of them. Maybe everybody, can apply for $500 from Adibas funds, and then I can give that out. If your goals are not bigger than yourself, you're not gonna get out of your bed. You're not gonna get out of your head, because we're in this life, we're all meant to give. When you breathe in, at the end, you can't even keep your breath, and that's life. You have to put it out. That's the simplest form of nature. So, and if you don't let it out, the things around us don't live. So same way with our goals, like it's not just about giving yourself the greatest body. It's not about giving yourself all this wealth. If the wealth is not feeding others, if this vessel that is your body, that is now you're trying to get it healthy, is not to be created to serve others, then you're not going to be motivated. And you hit it right on point. You did it to be able to serve others and motivate people, so that's what I would say will keep you motivated. It is hard to even stay motivated with bigger purpose, but you just gotta brush off. If you have a day of laziness, okay, don't let it be a week of laziness. What's your comeback time? Maybe it took you 1 month to get out of your rut. Okay, now make sure it's not a month next time. Make sure it's 3 weeks, and now 2 to 1 day, and then it becomes less over time. It becomes a habit.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I want to touch on as well. I know it's for I know you had you were talking about that immigrant ship about, and that's what helped you start your startup. Like what most people don't realize about me is that I had 2 startups back in the day trying to get education.
Mm-hmm.
Both got bought by incubators
Oh.
later on, but one of the biggest things that I felt was that it I read this in the book called Lean Startup. I think it was by Eric Ries.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things that that was discussed in that book is basically if you set a goal for it you see it the most in the tech industry and the business industry, where setting a goal and actually following it in a procedure is like you'll lose money if you don't do that in a company. But like a lot of people don't realize that in a personal sense it's a lot more important to set a goal and follow it, because for me it wasn't I wasn't gonna lose money if I didn't lose weight, but like I was
Right.
gonna lose my health. My eyesight
Yeah.
was already deteriorating. I
Wow.
was already like if I got injured I wouldn't feel the pain because of nerve endings damage and all that stuff you should see later on in life due to diabetes. I was already seeing in my early 20s. So I was like, no, it's got to change. I'm not going to look like that 40-year-old accountant by the time I graduate college. I
Mm-hmm.
want to make a change in my life because for a personal goal, it's for a company, yeah, you're going to lose money if you're behind the plan, but for a person, it's not, it's more than the money.
Yeah. I agree with that. It's way more than the money. If we really look deeper into that whole understanding, I've got into like positions of self-reflection where I'm like, you know what? Every time I slack off, I've lost a life. Not my life. In a sense that, every hour we slack off, there's people dying that we could have potentially helped. Like that's
Yeah.
how it's super dark, but sometimes you have to use darkness to motivate yourself. Sometimes darkness allows you to be motivated more than anything else. So it's like every time you slack off, all those people that you had your name to be written to help them, that hour was needed to help that person out, but you didn't use the hour. So now you could potentially be losing lives at your own accord. That could help motivate someone. That could totally like get people sad, but hey, use whatever motive. But it's like, yeah, you're losing something, right? So
Yeah. But yeah, so along with in that terms, I know you did talk about your startup, so I just want to give you a chance to see if there was any products or services that you are offering to students, or anyone that you would want to discuss with us today to help out.
yeah, sure. So it's not really like the product or service. The service is what it's really at is creating financial solutions, which I always help. When I started actually helping out students, and now obviously I help out with even just bigger numbers. I help corporations, business owners, and families, high net worth individuals, middle net worth. But I'm always helping out students. What students need is budgeting, savings, and actually investing. You have the least amount of responsibilities with the biggest time span in the financial world. So it's the time to really make your money work for you, even if it's small, even if it's $10 or something like that. But also this is a time for people to get disciplined. As a student, this is a time before you go into the real world of, having a job and things like that. This is a time you create that discipline and habits of your money. If you can have a good habit with $100, $1,000, guess what? When you start making $10,000, $100,000, that is going to reflect. Just like working out, if you're good in the beginning with the small reps, guess what? You're going to be able to do the bigger reps because you're going to be able to take on that weight because you built that muscle. Money management is also a muscle that people need to build. You also need a coach to kind of keep you accountable. That's what I do. I keep people accountable to their goals by creating a plan and a solution, and so on and so forth. So people listening to this, obviously, you guys will know my page. You can always, I do free half an hour consultations with whoever, whenever. So you guys will always ask questions. I do knowledge sessions. So you start learning because sometimes your questions are based on what you know. But if I could change what you know now, your questions are going to be different and your goals are going to be different. And that's what we want. So that is what is provided through myself, and of course I have a team who do it too because we're getting a lot of requests for a lot of things. So we have an entire team backing us up in Hamilton, Ottawa, Toronto, pretty much anywhere in Canada. People can get access to get the aid to level up their money game.
Yeah, I'll put your I'll put your contact information via the Instagram and so on in the description for people to reach. And just as a summation from what we discussed today about savings and setting goals and like having financial management, just to put into
Mm-hmm.
perspective for people, in the next 5 to 10 years, the top 3 jobs in America, well, Canada's America Junior, so whatever happens down there happens up here eventually. But in the top 3 jobs in America, truck drivers, retail, and customer service are all going to get turned into automation. It's already taking place. You already call the bank. They're telling you to like put in the nuclear launch codes to actually get a person to talk to you. Half of the stuff is already automated anyways or going offshore. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people nowadays are going to take the hit. People who want to pursue their passions and want to work at a, like, they have to do a customer service job or they have to do a retail job for a while they're trying to get their dreams and goals in check, are going to get lifted in the next few
Mm-hmm.
years. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
now that we have a lot of time, I just want to emphasize the severity of what can actually happen, and that this is the
Mm-hmm.
perfect time to learn about saving. This is the perfect
Yeah.
time to learn about how to have financial management in that situation, and how to develop your skills and set goals and actually develop yourself in a way where that won't hit you, because that is a reality that will come in the near future. So with
Yeah.
that being said, if you really if you don't want this to affect you, it can happen in any field. Even in my field, programming, Wix, Webflow, and all that are already taking a hit on people in my field. So
Mm,
please do reach out to either me or Adiba, and we can really help you out with being able to plan out how to take that hit. So yeah, is there
100%.
anything wanted to add to that point today?
No, I like what you said. I'm super grateful to giving value to people through this podcast. And one thing that I'll leave off with, there's two people when it comes to money. There's either people who need correction or direction. All that means is if you are in a bad position, you can be corrected. If you have the ability to work and have an able body to do so, you can be corrected. And obviously, if you're already making money or you've already started, putting money in different places, you can still be directed. There's so much money in this world. To not want to be wealthy is super selfish. It takes money to eat, it takes money to feed, and if you truly like to help people, get the desire to become wealthy, because you can actually impact more people. The problem with the world is that a lot of people who are wealthy, the hands behind the money is not the cleanest. So we need more clean hands to want to make money. So keep that in mind and choose
All right.
to not be mediocre and want to
Yeah.
get wealthy.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. So that concludes our podcast for today. Everything that we talked about will be in the description in terms of links. Please do reach out. Please do subscribe and like this video and leave a comment if you have any questions. I will get to them.